What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we do upload PvP content every single day, so please consider subscribing if you're into that type of content. Today we're going to be looking at a team based on a video I saw on PogoKieng's channel, a team that TheAsianMilkMan used with the timeout strategy based around Dewgong, and in that video they are using double legacy Dewgong with Ice Shard and Icy Wind. Now, I don't have Ice Shard on my Dewgong. I did have one with Icy Wind. I didn't use my elite TM on this. So we're going to test it out, see if we can run the same team that TheAsianMilkMan did, but with Frost Breath instead, and see how it performs. So here in this first matchup, we are up against the Azumarill lead, and this is a good example of when you want Ice Shard, because with Ice Shard, you're going to get to Icy Wind a lot quicker, so you're going to be able to throw those Icy Winds a lot faster and debuff the Azumarill. Now, because we're doing Frost Breath, we're not going to get to the Icy Winds as quickly, and Azumarill's actually going to win this match, especially when it has Play Rough. It's like, even if you have Ice Shard, it's going to be pretty difficult. However, if the Azumarill is running Ice Beam and Hydro Pump, we could still win with Frost Breath, but it would require us to shield the first Hydro Pump and not to get baited by an Ice Beam and whatnot. So anyways, in this matchup, because I know he's running Play Rough, I decided to just let the Dewgong go down, and I'm going to bring in the Mantine here. So Mantine, I'm actually running Bubble in these first two matches. I played these two matches in the last two games of a 5-game set. So here I'm going to go for the Ice Beam immediately, and let's see if our opponent's going to choose to shield. This will do a lot of damage to the Altaria. They do choose to shield. So a lot of people, they get a little caught off guard by the Ice Beam on Mantine, and they always expect the Beta Bubble Beam. So if it's a Grass type Altaria, those types of Pokemon, you could really take advantage of a matchup by landing that Ice Beam. So going for the Ice Beam again here. This time he lets it go through. So we try to farm down. We couldn't. So I didn't want this Sky Attack to KO, so I did shield it up. I did burn both shields, but I got switch advantage back, which is going to be really good for us. The Azumarill comes back in here. This Play Rough is going to do pretty heavy damage. So a little unfortunate. We bring in the Whiscash, and he actually switches into the Registeel. So we would have KO'd the Azumarill obviously with the Mud Shot, but they bring in the Registeel. So this is still a really good matchup for us here with the Whiscash. And I'm just going to go straight Mud Bombs here. Now what I need to do is make sure that when I take out this Registeel, I have enough energy for a Mud Bomb in the back for that Azumarill. So what I'm looking to do here is store enough energy for that. So I'm looking to see if I can commit to a farm down, because I know if I could farm down, I will win, but the Registeel gets to the Flash Cannon here, and this looks like it's gonna be GG. But look at this Whiscash with a shred of health. Oh my goodness, and we need 2 Mud Bombs here because we have to burn that last shield. So we did commit to the farm, we got the Mud Bomb, and we get the second Mud Bomb off. He actually got a bubble through there too, but we were able to survive and we win that game. The timer is running out. Absolutely clutch performance. IVs matter. Crazy performance there by Whiscash. Betty Mal is up in match number 2 here, and we are leading the Dewgong into the Skarmory. So this isn't the greatest matchup with the Frost Breath, but as you can see, the Frost Breath is adding up. It actually does quite a bit of damage as a fast move. Doesn't gain energy as quickly, but it's still pretty good. And because we got that Ice Wind off before our opponent got off charge move, I'm going to shield here, expecting this to be a Flash Cannon. So I didn't want to get hit by a Flash. It's actually a Brave Bird, which was a little strange. And I assume if he's running Brave Bird, he may have brought in the wrong Skarmory possibly, and isn't running 2 moves. So I'm going to take advantage of that, obviously. And I'm going to assume this is another Brave Bird, so I'm not going to shield. He's been debuffed twice now with the Icy Winds, and it is another Brave Bird. He switches out into the Roserade, and look at this. These Frost Breaths are actually doing so much damage. That's probably a situation where Frost Breath isn't the worst case scenario, but either way, the Roserade comes in, and my Mantine is running Bubble again here. Now, after this match, I did switch to Wing Attack, and that would be a lot better for this particular matchup. But we are able to farm down because Roserade gains energy so slowly with those Razor Leafs. So going to go for the Ice Beam here on the Skarmory, looking to KO. We do. A Whiscash comes in the back, and as long as we get this debuff off, we're going to be fine. It does have a shield, but we have our own Whiscash in the back. So as long as this Mantine does enough chip damage to it, and it's going to lower its attack anyways, so when our Whiscash comes in, it's going to have a really easy time. So we are going to end up winning this game. The Blizzard comes through, but as you can see, with those debuffs, does nothing. Our opponent backs out. So at this point, I went 2 games in a row. I'm like, you know what? This team might actually be pretty decent. Let me roll with it. And this is a new set here. Help 0314. And you're going to lead with the Vigoroth. Very bad matchup for the Dewgong, obviously, with that counter damage. So I'm going to switch into Mantine here. And he brings in a Lantern, so this is really bad for us. And in this situation, I don't really have anything I could do except lower the attack, really. I'm not going to invest any shields into this because the Thunderbolts are going to absolutely destroy the Mantine, and I would just be wasting resources here. So I'm going to let the Mantine go down, bring in the Whiscash here, who's going to have a very favorable matchup against the Lantern. And at this point, I'm going to go for the Mud Bombs, obviously. They're going to be super effective against the Lantern. And I do have to watch out for a Hydro Pump here, but because I saved my shields by not using them on that Mantine, I'm okay investing them now. And I need to make sure I win this matchup here because I don't really want to align my Dewgong with that Vigoroth. So I try undercharging here, but he actually did commit a shield. So at that point I was like, okay, that's great because I know I'm going to outpace him to the next charge move. So we go for another Mud Bomb here. And the Mud Bomb is going to KO the Lantern. So we got a shield there, which didn't really help them in any way. And they bring in the Altaria here. And this is where I'm going for the Blizzard. I'm going to let this Sky attack go through because I know I could survive it. And maybe if he thinks I'm not shielding, I might not be building up to a Blizzard. But this is pretty much the turning point in the game if I land this or not. And we actually do land it. I think if he did shield it, we may have been able to get to another one possibly. If I shielded with the Whiscash, assuming he didn't switch into the Vigoroth. But very fortunate for us. Now I'm in a great situation because I could burn these shields on the Vigoroth. And I'm going to save that shield for the Dewgong because I know my Dewgong's going to be taking a lot of damage from this Vigoroth. But if I could get one debuff in, I should be able to farm down with the Frost Breaths. So I do shield this Body Slam. And I'm trying to get to the Icy Wind before I get to another one, which I didn't. A little bit unfortunate there. So this one's going to do regular damage to us. But now we get the Icy Wind off finally. And Icy Wind itself is it's a pretty decent hitting move. As you can see, there does a lot of damage. So he's definitely in Frost Breath range now. And we're able to farm down and win that game. So another win with this team. These matches take a really long time. No, I'm not Jeff. Match number 4 here. These matches take a really long time. And I could see why the Asian Milkman worked timeout strategy. Because these matches literally always time out. And this is without Ice Shard. So imagine with Ice Shard. We were facing a Venusaur there, and Frost Breath does so much heavy damage there that he actually switched out into a Azumarill. And I'm going to go for the Icy Wind to debuff that attack before I switch out into the Mantine here. And unless this is play rough, I should be in a good position. I shielded just in case because he had a lot of energy. It is an Ice Beam, so a little unfortunate there, but we're going to Bubble Beam now. And he's locked into this matchup, so this Azumarill is just going to get debuffed. And here I am running Wing Attack. So this is actually a better matchup against Azumarill than with Bubble. The Asian Milkman in PogoKieng's video did run Bubble on the Mantine, but he also ran Ice Shard on the Dewgong. So I'm running a little bit slightly different movesets here. But concept is pretty much the same. I like Wing Attack because of the coverage on grass types. Now, the Bastiodon comes in, which is amazing because he switch locks himself into this as well. And I'm going to bring in the Whiscash, which is absolutely going to wall this Bastiodon. So I'm going here for a Mud Bomb, hoping to get a shield. I'm going to have to start getting shields here, actually. He chooses not to burn a shield. So at this point, because I know he's switch locked and his moves aren't going to be doing that much damage, I'm just going to commit to a straight farm down. Because I know that Venusaur is going to come back in, and I don't want my Whiscash to have a lot of health for it to farm down with. So the lower I can get my Whiscash, the better. And I'll have a lot of energy stored. So he's going to bring in the Venusaurs, presumably. I'm going to go for back-to-back Mud Bombs and have less health for him to farm down with. So I'm expecting this to be the Venusaur. It's actually the Azumarill. He was probably expecting a Blizzard possibly and didn't want to shield it. So I go for the Mud Bomb. Smart play on his part actually. But I have enough for a second Mud Bomb. So let's see if he chooses to shield this. We're in a really good position here. Dewgong and Mantine in the back. And because my Mantine has Wing Attack, that Venusaur is a really bad position here. So I choose to let this go. We actually survive it. And the Venusaur comes in. He quickly destroys that Whiscash with one Vine Whip. And Venusaur is going to come in here. And because I'm running Wing Attack, I'm okay shielding this. Because I know I could get to a charge move here. And those Wing Attacks are going to do some nice damage. So I'm going to go for the Bubble Beam here. Look to lower the attack. And look at these wing attacks. They're doing some really nice damage here. This is likely going to be a Sludge Bomb to KO the Mantine. Frenzy Plant would have probably done the job there too. We bring in the Dewgong, instantly takes out that Venusaur, and we're in a really good position now. This is going to burn the last shield, but whatever Azumarill throws at me, now that it's debuffed as well, isn't going to do anything to Dewgong. So we're going to be able to farm down and win this game. This team's performing really well, and you're probably watching this thinking, like, damn, should I invest my Elite TM into Icy Wind and run Frost Breath? Well, we're going to see in this video, probably not. So Bastion on lead, this is the absolute worst lead you are ever going to see with this team. And I actually forgot at the moment that I was running Wing Attack on this. So those aren't doing anything with the quick move damage. We get the Bubble Beam, which is going to lower the attack obviously, but I can't really bring the Whiscash because they'll switch out, and then I have no counter to the Bastion. So the best thing I could hope for is just to bring in the Mantine and hope for the best. Just going for Bubble Beams, but he's going to switch out eventually anyways when I bring in the Whiscash and reset those debuffs. So the Victory Bell comes in, absolutely annihilates my Whiscash, and this game is pretty much done at this point. The Razor Leafs are going to absolutely devour everything on this team. And even though I can get rid of this Victory Bell, the Bastion on the back has no answer. And this game is pretty much a wrap. The Bastion totally walls the Mantine and the Dewgong. So if they lead Bastion with this team, you're pretty much done. Nothing you can really do. Missisitu is up next, leading the Jirachi. So this isn't the most favorable matchup for Dewgong, obviously, so I am going to look to switch out. And I'm going to bring in the Mantine here. Don't want to give away my hard counter in the Whiscash. We could possibly get them to switch out of this matchup maybe, so let's see what happens. Go for the Bubble Beam, it is going to lower the attack. A lot of times when they get debuffed, they feel like it is a good time to switch out. They bring in Meganium, but because I'm running Wing Attack, this actually is a pretty good situation, and I have the energy lead. So I'm going to commit as many shields as I can to ensure that I win this matchup, get switch advantage, and line up my Whiscash with the Jirachi. So Meganium comes in here, Frenzy Plant, I'm going to shield that, and I could probably commit to a farm down here, which I am able to do because he let that Ice Beam go through, was probably expecting a Bubble Beam. Now here, unfortunately, I didn't get for charge attack, so we are going to go down with this energy, but that's fine. I could bring in the Whiscash here. Waiting for my switch timer to go all the way down, as we learned in the last video from that mistake. So gonna throw these Mud Bombs. These are going to be doing a lot of damage to the Jirachi. Gonna choose to shield up, and I go for another Mud Bomb here. And if my opponent shields this again, I'm going to assume that they probably are weak to the Whiscash in the back, and they do. They switch out into Altaria, and at this point I know I could get to the Blizzard, so I'm just going to go straight for that instead of switching into the Dewgong. Either way would have probably won the game, but the Blizzard is just so satisfying to hit there, as you can see. Going to switch in the Dewgong to absorb this hit, but Dewgong is full health. There's pretty much no way that this Jirachi is going to win this game. And we could just pretty much farm down with the Frost Breath here. We'll actually survive this Doom Desire as well, but shielding just because, just to lock up the game. So Frost Breath will take it on. We're going to win that game. 0617 Pooh is up next, and we are now doing some daytime battles. Very rare for me. This is about at like 6 a.m. in the morning, I think. Dewgong versus Azumarill. Here we're going to see how I play this differently. So when you're Azumarill, especially in this situation where I'm running Frostbite, you want to get your charge move off as quickly as possible because that first one's going to do the most damage. In this situation, they did not. I get off the Icy Wind, perfect. I'm going to shield this assuming that's a Hydro Pump or a Play Rough because they farmed up so much energy. Turns out to be an Ice Beam, sets me back a little bit. But we get to a second Icy Wind, and there's a glitch for a shield. I actually didn't use a shield. The attack's going to go through still. A little go battle lag issue, as you saw there. So we didn't get the Icy Wind off, unfortunately, this time. And that time it was a Hydro Pump. So we screwed up a little bit. We shielded the wrong move. And as you can see here, these Azumarills are in really good position. But we do get off the Icy Wind again. So this is going to be a second debuff to that Azumarill. And now it's very close to farm down range. So the Azumarill is going to go for another Hydro Pump. But at this point, it's doing pretty much nothing. And are we able to farm down? We're actually not, but I know this is going to be an Ice Beam, so I could survive that. I'm not going to shield it. If it was a Hydro Pump, it would KO, but there was no way he got to a Hydro Pump there, so we do end up not shielding and winning the switch advantage, which is really good. And I'm going to throw this Icy Wind at whatever comes in. Happens to be a Hypno. So Hypno should be able to farm down here, but we did get to debuff it at least. And it's very close to a charge at this point. So I could bring in the Mantine, but if it's running Thunder Punch, I don't really want to be in that situation. So I bring in the Whiscash. Actually switches into Galvantula. At this point, I was a little confused. I'm like, why would you switch Galvantula into Whiscash? It's such a favorable matchup for me. So I was like, okay, maybe they're going to go for the Bug Buzz here. But that was way too quick for a Bug Buzz, so I knew it couldn't be Bug Buzz. It had to be Discharge. Energy Ball. Was definitely not thinking about that. Almost no one runs Energy Ball, or at least the opponents I faced are not running Energy Ball on their Galvantula. That caught me off guard completely. One shots the Whiscash, and they flipped this game around completely, and they won because of that great play on their part. So very well played there. And this next matchup here against Can51. And we're going to lead with the Dewgong again into the Probopass. At this point, I'm just thinking, like, who the heck leads Probopass? Like, I've never seen that. And I was a little annoyed because such a bad matchup for us. Switch into the Mantine. Obviously, can't give away the Whiscash. So they actually switched into the Tropius, so I really wish I went for Ice Beam there. But we did at least nerf the Razor Leaf a little bit. And I'm going to have to shield this up. It is a Leaf Blade. I want to get off this Ice Beam. A little bit of lag there, unfortunately. And as you can see, I almost got KO'd from the Razor Leaf while I was lagging. And I just managed to get off this Ice Beam before I KO'd. And he did not shield it, thankfully. So he probably thought because I was lagging I didn't get enough energy for the Ice Beam. And we ended up winning switch advantage because of that. And now I can line up my Whiscash with the Probopass. So now we flip this match around. The Rock Slide comes through. Not going to do anything. He brings in Flygon, which was pretty interesting. And I could have switched out into Dewgong instantly and saved the energy for the matchup in the back. But I just wanted to get off the Blizzard, you know. It's like, it's so satisfying to one-shot these Pokemon. But I knew I was going to win this match almost no matter what happens. So I was okay doing the Blizzard there. It's probably going to be Dragon Claw. It's actually an Earth Power. Okay, you gained a lot of energy there. But we could just farm down here. The Flygon's super weak to the ice. And Probopass comes back in. I'm just going to debuff this thing and put my Whiscash in an even better situation here. So Probopass now is going to KO with the Rock Slide. And I can bring in the Whiscash here. As you can see, we're down quite a bit of health, but because these Mud Bombs are doing so much damage to the Probopass, we're going to end up being in a really good position here. We get the last shield. And I'm going to shield up this charge move, whatever it is. Obviously, Rock Slide is resisted. We would survive that, but no point in risking things this late in the game. Just go for the Mud Bomb here, and this should be enough to win the match. And we take that match despite a very unfavorable lead. So Carby is going to be next up. And we are going to lead the Dewgong into the Azumarill. Again, let's see how this matchup plays out. And just because you're not running Ice Shard doesn't mean that you can't win this match. Now if they're running Play Rough, yeah, you can't. But most people are running Ice Beam Hydro Pump anyway, so you just gotta make the right calls here. If you get the Ice Beam off first, you're in a really good position. I always assume they're going for the Hydro Pump first, or a Play Rough, and I keep getting baited with the Ice Beam. I need to do a better job counting. At this point I wasn't counting the bubbles because I was just not into it, but I definitely should. And we go for the Icy Wind here. He actually switches out, which is really good for us because he switch locks his Registeel into this matchup with the Whiscash. And this is likely going to be a Focus Blast, which will do quite a bit of damage. And we're just going to chip away here with the Mud Shots and go for these Mud Bombs. At this point, I'm not sure if my opponent wants to commit any shields into the Registeel, because they probably just want to bring back in the Azumarill here and reset the debuffs on it. So they don't commit any shields. And if this is a Focus Blast, it will KO, so I'm going to shield because I want to win the switch advantage, obviously. But here, I put myself in a sort of difficult situation because we are down 2 shields. But I know he has an Azumarill, which I could take care of. And we need to know what he has in the back. I go for the Mud Bomb here. He lets it go through. And let's see what this is. It should KO. It's an Ice Beam. Doesn't KO, but he's able to farm down, so that worked out a little worse for us. He still has 2 shields. So this is a pretty crazy situation here. I'm going to bring back in the Dewgong because it could tank these moves from the Azumarill better than the Mantine would. So the Ice Beam is doing nothing at all. He switches out into the Haunter, and this was the last thing I wanted to see. Haunter with 2 shields. How are we going to get out of this? Well, let's start by debuffing it. Icy Wind comes through against the Haunter, and it's farming up a lot of energy here. Probably wondering what I have in the back. This is going to KO for sure. It's a Shadow Ball. Thankfully, I have another pretty tanky Pokemon in the back in Mantine, and I get to the Bubble Beam before he gets off a charge move. I'm not sure if he had a charge move ready or not. I'm pretty sure he did, but allowing me to get this Bubble Beam is huge because it's going to debuff his attack again, and I'm going to survive this no matter what it is now. So it's a Shadow Ball. It's going to waste a lot of energy. We're going to be able to farm down here, and the Azumarill is going to come back in. It's so low. It has no energy because he used that Ice Beam. So I go for the Bubble Beam hoping this is going to KO, but I wasn't sure. I didn't know if I'd get to the Ice Beam on time, so I just desperately threw the Bubble Beam. He survived, but we got him out with the Wing attack. So we came back with 0 shields against a 2 shield Haunter in the endgame. That is crazy. This team is definitely the real deal. Hercheka is up next, leading with the Alolan Marowak, another bad lead for the Dewgong. Don't really see people leading Marowak too often. Gonna bring in the Mantine here, which is a pretty good matchup here. Missed some bubbles there, which is pretty bad. Bubble Beam comes through, does a nice amount of damage to the Marowak, and lowers the attack. This is obviously going to be a Shadow Ball, so I'll have to shield that up. If it was a Bone Club, it would have really been painful to have shielded that, but it was a Shadow Ball. He switches out into the Azumarill, and because I'm running Wing Attack, this is actually a pretty good matchup for Mantine. So let's see who's going to throw. I choose not to shield this time. This time I knew it was an Ice Beam, and we're just doing some Wing Attack damage. I'm going to go for the Bubble Beam again. And we're going to just continuously debuff this Azumarill here. And at this point, I'm expecting another Ice Beam. No move at this range should KO, to be honest. Even Hydro Pump isn't going to KO because of the debuffs. So I'm going to go for another Bubble Beam here. And this Bubble Beam is going to be the 3rd debuff to this Azumarill. And I look to switch out because I want to save that Bubble Beam in the back in case there's a late game situation where the Marowak is low and I could come in and throw the Bubble Beam. So I catch this Ice Beam from the Azumarill. At this point, I would probably switch out if I was the Azumarill, because it's been so debuffed that it's literally doing nothing to me, and it's allowing me to farm up a lot of energy. And at this point, because he's not switching out, I'm committing to a straight farm down, because I know this is a win condition here. I'm down a shield, and I know these moves aren't going to do anything to me. So I'm just going to farm up as much energy as I can get, have 2 Icy Winds ready, and throw them at whatever comes back in. Most likely the Alolan Marowak. It's actually a Ferrothorn. Okay, so that's not too great, because I have Whiscash in the back as well. So I'm going to debuff this thing as much as I can. And he didn't switch lock himself in, so there's that as well. I switched into the Mantine. I'm just trying to debuff this thing as much as I can, even though he could switch out. But it's been debuffed 3 times now. And I'm doing that because I know if my Whiscash comes in and it hits a Power Whip, maybe it'll survive after being debuffed 3 times. But I'm going to bring back in the Dewgong here, because I know the Whiscash is a better matchup against the Alolan Marowak in the back. So this Ferrothorn's staying in, which is blowing my mind. He goes for the Thunder. Obviously that's going to KO. And I'm going to go for another Icy Wind. This is the 4th debuff onto the Ferrothorn, and he lets that one go through, which is going to absolutely turn the tables in this matchup. I needed that to go through here. Switch into the Whiscash here. This is definitely going to be a Shadow Ball. And I just need to burn that last shield on this Marowak, and we'll be good. As you can see, the timer's running out. And at this point, I know, okay, all I have to do is spam moves. It only because I have 2 Pokemon versus 1. He actually lets it go. I guess he figured the match was over, so we ended up winning that game. And we did really well. This is the last match against I'm Emo. And this is just going to show you an example of horrible lag. Shadow Victory Bell. We were actually doing pretty well. Switched out into Jirachi. I bring in the Whiscash here. And I'm going to shield this Doom Desire, unfortunately. Thought it was going to be a Psychic. But I go for the Mud Bomb here, expecting to get a shield. And we do get the shield. I know I'm going to outpace it overall to win this match. Doom Desire comes through, let that go. Mud Bomb comes in. Let's see if they choose to shield or not. They actually let it go. And here, something weird happened. The game just like froze. I couldn't tap the screen. As you can see, I was going to knock it out with the Mud Bombs, but It's not the mud shot, rather. It's not doing anything. Then out of nowhere, it has a charge already. I fainted apparently, but nothing came up. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So long story short, I leave the app, restart the game. When I come back into the game, the match is still going on. It automatically goes back into the game, and all my Pokemon are pretty much dead. So we end up losing that game. A little bit unfortunate there. We would have probably ended up winning, but it is what it is. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribing to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.